Welcome children. In the last video we studied about electrostatic force between 2-point charges given by Coulomb's law, and today we are going to study about electrostatic force due to continuous charge distribution. The region or area in which charges are closely spaced is said to have a continuous charge distribution. So the region or area in which charges are closely spaced is said to have a continuous charge distribution. And this continuous charge distribution we can classify into three categories. Continuous charge distribution can be classified into three. First one is called as linear charge distribution. Linear charge distribution, or we can say one-dimensional distribution of charge. One-dimensional charge distribution. One-dimensional charge distribution. And second one is called as surface charge distribution. Surface charge distribution, or we can say it is two-dimensional distribution of charge. Two-dimensional distribution of charge. Two-dimensional distribution of charge. And third one is volume charge distribution. Volume charge distribution, or it can be called as three-dimensional distribution of charge. Three-dimensional distribution of charge. So the region or area in which charges are closely spaced is said to have a continuous charge distribution. And this continuous charge distribution we can classify into three categories. First one is linear charge distribution, or we can say one-dimensional charge distribution. Then second one is surface charge distribution, or we can say two-dimensional charge distribution. And third one is volume charge distribution, or we can say three-dimensional charge distribution. For linear charge we can give one example as distribution of charge on a straight conductor. Distribution of charge on a straight conductor can be taken as which one example for linear charge distribution. And surface charge distribution we can take it as a plane sheet. Distribution of charge on a plane sheet. Plane sheet can be taken as which one? Surface charge distribution. That is distribution of charge on a plane. Okay, that is taken as which one? Surface charge distribution. Then volume charge distribution, for example, distribution of charge on a sphere. Distribution of charge on a sphere can be taken as which one? Three-dimensional distribution of charge. That means three-dimensional x, y, z axis. Distribution of charge in a space, that is called as which one? Volume charge distribution. So we can categorize into three categories. Then first we have to study about linear charge distribution. In linear charge distribution, first of all we can study what is linear charge density. Linear charge density. Linear charge density symbol is lambda. It is defined as the charge per unit length. Charge per unit length. Charge per unit length of a conductor. Charge per unit length of a conductor can be called as which one? Linear charge density. That is lambda equals dq by dl. That is charge per unit length. Charge divided by length. So unit of lambda is coulomb per meter, because unit of charge is coulomb, per unit of length is meter. So coulomb per meter. Okay. Then we have to find the electrostatic force acting on a charge. Electrostatic force acting on a charge due to this linear charge distribution. So for that, first of all I am drawing a diagram. So consider we are taking a linear charge distribution. It is a conductor. Consider a conductor carrying charges. Consider a conductor carrying charges, and we are taking another one point somewhere here, and we have to find the electrostatic force. Suppose I am keeping one charge here as Q0. So Q0 is the charge I am keeping at this point, and we have to find the electrostatic force acting on this charge due to this linear charge distribution. Okay. So for that, this is the origin. is the origin, and this much distance. Suppose I am taking a small element of this conductor. So consider a small element dl. So I am taking a small element dl of this conductor, and this dl element is having a charge dq. So consider a small element dl of this conductor carrying a charge dq. So this dq is the charge of this small element dl. Okay, and this element is, suppose I am taking a distance of r dash from the origin. So this element is at a distance of r dash from the origin, and I am taking another one charge q0 at a distance r. So this charge is at a distance r from the origin, and this distance, that is this linear charge distribution to this charge q0, this much distance I am taking as r0. So r0 is the distance between q0 and this linear conductor. Okay, so I told you this dl is a small element of the conductor having charge dq. Then we have linear charge density lambda. We have the formula lambda equals charge per unit length, that is dq by dl. So from this we can find dq charge. So dq equals, cross multiply, will be getting lambda into dl. So this dq is the charge of this small element dl. Okay, so this I need to find the total charge of this conductor, this linear charge conductor. Okay, so for that what I am doing is, this q is the total charge of this linear conductor. So what we have to do is, we have to integrate. So integral lambda dl. This is called as line integral because it is a linear conductor. So I am taking line integral here. So line integral of lambda into dl. So this q is the total charge of this linear conductor. This q is the total charge of this linear conductor. That is taken as line integral of lambda into dl. This lambda is the linear charge density. Okay. Now we have to find the electrostatic force between these two. That means q0, charge q0, and this linear charge distribution. Okay. So that is given by F. F equals, formula we know according to Coulomb's law, 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into, this is q0 into this charge of this conductor. The total charge of the conductor is taken as q divided by distance between these two charges is taken as r0 square, and this force is a vector quantity. So I am taking vector here. So vector F equals this r0 square into unit vector r0. This r0 shows the direction of force acting on the conductor. So this unit vector r0 gives the direction of force acting between these two charges. Okay. Now which is equivalent to this q0 by 4 pi epsilon 0 I am taking together. q0 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into, what is q here? Q equals line integral lambda into dl. So I am writing here integral, line integral lambda into dl divided by remaining r0 square into unit vector r0. So this is the electrostatic force due to this linear charge distribution. So we are keeping another one charge q0 here, and this electrostatic force between this charge q0 and this linear charge distribution can be taken as how much? F equals q0 by 4 pi epsilon 0 line integral lambda dl by r0 square into unit vector r0, and this unit vector r0 gives the direction of force acting between the two charges. This is about linear charge distribution. So similarly we have to find which one? Surface charge density. Next is surface charge distribution. So before going to surface charge distribution, we have to study what is surface charge density. Surface charge density. Surface charge density. Surface charge density symbol is sigma. Sigma is the symbol for surface charge density, and the surface charge density is given by charge per unit surface dq by ds. Lambda, I told you, lambda equals dq by dl. That is charge per unit length is called as which one? Linear charge density, and surface charge density sigma equals charge per unit surface. Okay, dq by ds. Okay. Now, so what may be the unit here? Unit is unit is coulomb per surface area, unit is meter square. So coulomb per meter square. So the unit of sigma is coulomb per meter square. And what is sigma? Surface charge density. It is the charge per unit surface area. The charge per unit surface area can be called as which one? Surface charge density. And similarly, we have to derive the formula for electrostatic force. So first of all, I am drawing a diagram here. So consider a plain sheet having charges, having continuous charge distribution. Okay, and I have taken another one charge Q0 here, Q0, and in this plain sheet I am taking a small surface area, small surface I am taking, and this surface is taken as ds. So I am taking a small surface ds on this plain sheet, and this surface ds is at a distance of r dash from the origin, and similarly this Q0 also will be at a distance of r from the origin, at a distance r from the origin, and this much distance I am taking as r0. So R0 is the distance between the charge Q0 and the surface charge distribution. So I am taking a small element ds of this plain sheet, and this ds is at a distance of r dash from the origin. Okay, and I told you I have taken a small surface area ds, and this ds is having a charge dq. So dq is the charge of the small surface ds. Okay, so dq is the charge on a small surface area ds, and we have the formula for surface charge density, sigma equals dq by ds, and from this we need to find dq. So dq equals cross multiplying sigma into ds. So this dq is the charge on the small surface ds of this plain sheet. Okay, I need to find the total charge of the plain sheet. So I need to find the total charge of this plain sheet. So for that, what I am doing is I have to integrate. So I need q. Q is the total charge of the plain sheet. So I am integrating this one. Here I am taking surface integral because I am taking a surface area here. Okay, plain sheet. So in the first case I have written as line integral. Here it is surface integral. Surface integral sigma into ds. So this is the total charge of this plain sheet. Now I need to find the electrostatic force between this surface charge density, surface charge distribution, and this charge Q0. Okay, so I am taking F, vector F equals, formula we know, 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0. Two charges here, Q0 into Q divided by distance square is R0 square into unit vector R0. This unit vector R0 indicates the direction of the electrostatic force. Now I have to substitute the value for Q here. So I will be getting vector F equals 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0. 1 by 4 pi epsilon. So this Q0 I am taking here. Q0 by 4 pi epsilon 0. Integral, instead of Q I can give which one? Surface integral sigma ds divided by R0 square into unit vector R0. Okay, so this will give the electrostatic force due to surface charge distribution. This is the electrostatic force due to surface charge distribution. Okay, so F equals Q0 by 4 pi epsilon 0 surface integral sigma ds by R0 square into unit vector R0. Okay, similarly we have to find which one? Volume charge distribution. So third one. Next is volume charge distribution. So for that we have to study volume charge density first. Volume charge density, symbol is rho. And is given by rho equals dq by dv. That is, charge per unit volume can be taken as volume charge density. Charge per unit volume can be taken as volume charge density rho, and the unit is coulomb per meter cube. Okay, this coulomb is the unit of charge and meter cube is the unit of volume. So this is volume charge density rho. So rho equals dq by dv. So first of all, I am drawing a diagram here. And I am taking a sphere here. A sphere. And inside the sphere, I am taking a small volume. Small volume here. And I am taking another one charge Q0. Q0. And this volume is at a distance of R dash from the origin. R dash from the origin. And this charge Q0 is at a distance of R from the origin. And this much distance I am taking as R0, that is distance between the charge Q0 and this volume charge distribution. Okay, and we need to find the electrostatic force between this charge Q0 and this volume charge distribution. So for that, first of all, I told you I have taken a small volume here. Okay, so take it as dV. So dV is the small volume here. dV is the small volume, and this dV is having a charge dq. And suppose this small volume dV is having a charge dq, then we can write according to this formula rho equals dq by dV. Rho equals dq by dV. So from this cross multiplying, we need to find dq. So dq equals rho into dV. So this is the charge of the small volume. Okay, so it is taken as rho into dV. Now we have to find the total charge of this sphere. Okay, that is q. So q equals, we have to take the integral. So here we have to take volume integral. So volume integral of rho into dV. So this is the total charge of this sphere, spherical surface. So the total charge of the spherical surface is q equals volume integral rho into dV. Now we can substitute in the Coulomb's force. Now force formula is vector F equals 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0. This is charge Q0 into total charge of the sphere is taken as Q divided by distance is R0. R0 square into unit vector R0. Unit vector R0. That is equivalent to this Q0 divided by 4 pi epsilon 0 into, instead of Q we can write volume integral rho dV divided by here R0 square into unit vector R0. So this will give the electrostatic force due to volume charge distribution. Okay, so we studied about linear charge distribution, surface charge distribution as well as volume charge distribution. Okay. Next is electric field. So electric field is the region around a charge where the electrical force is experiencing. Okay, suppose I am taking a charge Q. Okay, the region around this charge where this electrical force is experiencing can be called as electric field. So this is the electric field of this charge Q. So it is a region around a charge where the electrical force is experiencing. And this charge Q can be called as the source charge. Source charge means the charge which produces the electrical field. That is called as which one? Source charge. And I am keeping another one charge Q0 in the electric field of this charge Q. And this charge Q0 is called as the test charge. So test charge is the charge which experiences the effect of source charge. So test charge is the charge which experiences the effect of source charge. Now we have to find out what is electric field intensity at a point. Okay. So electric field intensity, it is a vector quantity. Its symbol is vector E. So we have to find the electric field intensity at a point due to source charge. Suppose I am taking a charge Q. So it is having an electric field around this charge. Okay, and suppose I want to find the electric field intensity at any point P. So I need to find the electric field intensity at this point P. So this electric field intensity at this point P is equal to the force acting per unit charge placed at that point. That means I am keeping on another one unit positive charge here, Q0. So Q0 is a unit positive charge placed at this point P. Okay, then the force acting on this unit positive charge is called as which one? Electric field intensity. So it is the force acting per unit charge placed at that particular point. That is called as which one? Electric field intensity vector E. That means vector E equals vector F by Q0. Once again, electric field intensity at any point due to source charge is equal to the force experienced by a unit positive charge placed at that point. Suppose if you are placing a unit positive charge at that point, how much force is acting? That is equivalent to which one? Electric field intensity. Clear? Now, the unit of electric field intensity is, force unit is Newton. Newton per coulomb. So, Newton per coulomb is the unit of electric field intensity. Suppose we have a positive charge. One positive charge is here. Now, the field vectors will be, in the case of a unit positive charge, the field vectors are going outward like this. The field vectors will be acting in outward direction. So, electric field vectors will be acting in outward direction. In the case of which one? Positive charge. Suppose I am taking negative charge, then this electric field vectors will be acting inward. So, in the case of positive charge, field vectors are acting in outward direction. In the case of negative charge, field vectors are acting in inward direction. So, this electric field intensity is the force acting per unit charge placed at that point. So, in the case of positive charge, field vectors are acting in outward direction. In the case of negative charge, field vectors are acting in inward direction. Okay. Now, we are going to study about electric field due to a point charge. Electric field due to a point charge. Point charge. Suppose I am taking a charge Q at the origin. So at the origin we have a charge Q, okay, and we have to find the intensity of electric field at a point P. Okay, we have to find the electric field intensity at a point P due to which one? Due to the charge Q. Okay, so we have a charge Q at the origin and we have to find the electric field intensity at the point P due to this charge Q, due to this point charge Q. Okay, so for that what we are doing is we are placing another one unit positive charge Q0. So we are placing a unit positive charge Q0 at this point P. Then we know what is the electrostatic force between these two charges. According to Coulomb's law, what we can write now? So F equals, vector F equals 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into Q into Q0, Q into Q0 divided by, suppose this distance I have taken as R, okay. So divided by R square into unit vector R. So we need to find the electric field intensity at this point P due to this source charge Q. So this is the point charge. So due to this point charge Q, we have to find the electric field intensity at this point P. So for that what we are doing is we are placing another one unit positive charge Q0 at this point. Now we have this Coulomb force between Q and Q0. The formula is F equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 Q0 divided by R square into unit vector R. And what we have to find is electric field intensity at this point P. So electric field intensity at the point P, E equals, now only we studied the formula, force acting per unit charge, F by Q0, force acting per unit charge. That is equivalent to, what is force here? 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0, Q0 divided by R square into unit vector R, the whole divided by which one? Q0, okay. Now this Q0 will cancel. Remaining we have 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 Q by R square into unit vector R. So this is the electric field intensity due to a point charge. So electric field intensity due to a point charge is given by 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 Q by R square into unit vector R. And the magnitude of electric field is given by modulus. Magnitude is given by 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 Q by R square. So this is the magnitude of electric field due to a point charge. In vector form we can write as 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 q by r square into unit vector r, and the magnitude is given by 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 q by r square. That means this electric field mainly depends on only distance. It depends mainly on charge as well as the distance. So this electric field intensity at any point depends on the distance from the source charge. Clear? So once again, this electric field intensity at any point depends on the distance from the source charge. So that means, suppose I am taking a spherical conductor. Suppose a point charge is kept inside a sphere. Point charge inside a sphere. Now we can say that the electric field intensity at all points on the surface will be same. The reason is distance everywhere is same only. Distance is equivalent to radius. So electric field intensity at all the points. Electric field intensity at all the points on the surface of a sphere will be same because the distance remains same. So whenever distance remains same means electric field intensity also will be same. Okay. That means it is showing spherical symmetry. So it is showing this spherical symmetry. Because electric field intensity mainly depends on which factor? Depends on distance. So in the case, suppose we are keeping a point charge inside a sphere. On the surface of the sphere, on all points, the electric field intensity will be same because it depends only on distance r, and the distance r is same everywhere. So it shows which one? Spherical symmetry. Okay. Then suppose there are so many charges. I told you in the case of point charge. So point charge electric field is given by, electric field intensity is given by E equals 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 q by r square into unit vector r. Okay. Suppose we have so many charges and we have to find the electric field intensity at a point D2. So many charges. Then at that time we can write as vector E equals 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 sigma I equals 1 to n. Suppose we have n charges. I equals 1 to n. Qi divided by Ri square into unit vector Ri. Suppose first charge means we can write here as Q1 by R1 square into R1 vector. Similarly, second charge means Q2 divided by R2 square into unit vector R2. Like that we can add all these electric field vectors. This is in the case of so many charges. Suppose one charge means we can write as 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 q by r square into unit vector r. Okay, so this much about electric field intensity. So electric field intensity due to a point charge is given by 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 q by r square. It depends only on the distance. Suppose the distance remains same means electric field intensity will be same everywhere. Okay, this is in the case of a large number of charges. Okay, so this much about continuous charge distribution and electric field. The remaining portions we can study on the next video.